it's me, Raven, and today on this episode of Terrible Thoughts, we're going to be talking about Charles Manson. So right off the bat, Charles Manson was a cult leader. He killed 7 people, he was very controlling, he had paranoid delusions, and he was very unremorseful. Charles was born in Ohio to Kathleen. Kathleen was a teen mom and Charles was born on November 12, 1934 in Ohio to a teenage mother named Kathleen. Kathleen wasn't on good terms with the biological father, and before Charles was born, he had a stepdad. Alright, so Kathleen would go on these drinking sprees, which caused a divorce between her and Charles' stepdad whenever Charles was like 3. And she would go on these drinking sprees with her brother. You know, people don't like to drink alone. And her brother's name was Luther. And Luther had a girlfriend who was a friend of Kathleen's. And they tried to rob this dude together who looked rich. She gets caught. Okay, so after she's like caught and everything, Charles goes and lives with his aunt and uncle in West Virginia. She's sentenced to like 5 years in prison, but she gets out. Charles is still young, and he says once his mom was freed, that was the happiest time of his life. So once his mom is out, they move again, and she's an alcoholic. This is like a known thing, and like she goes to Alcoholics Anonymous meetings and meets a dude named Lewis. Not much is really known about his mom after that, but at 9 years old, he tried to set fire to the school. This caused him to get sent to like this, what do you call it? Catholic school, and he escapes at like 13. Once he escapes, he like goes and finds his mom. He's like, "Hey mom, what's up?" And this is around Christmas time, so he spends Christmas with the family. But I think it's a few years later, he robs this store, rents a room on Skid Row, and originally the robbery was for like food, but then he found a bunch of money and he was like, "Shit, I need this." Eventually he gets caught. The judge was like super sympathetic, and he sends him to this place called Boys Town, which is supposed to be like a really good place for troubled boys. And well, him and this kid named Blackie Nielsen, they stole a car, got a gun, and robbed a casino. So this stupid man gets caught again, and he's sent to this terrible place because the judges were like, "Dude, we're tired of seeing you. Go away, behave yourself." And he gets sent to this school where he is like abused horribly. So he tries to escape this school like 18 times. Once he does, commits a federal crime for stealing a car across like state lines, but he gets tested. He's illiterate, but his IQ is like above average, and well, he's aggressively antisocial. Probably because he was abused for like so long, but not gonna get into that. This guy is in and out of prison. He's let out on good behavior in 1954, marries a girl, gets a pregnant wife, and once he gets arrested again, he's like all alone, you know. She stopped seeing him at like all, like no visits whatsoever, because it turns out she found someone else. He hears about this and he's like, "Holy shit, that obviously is like really upsetting." So he tries to get out, and well, yeah, he ended up pimping a 16-year-old girl. In 1969, this is when the whole Manson family begins. It's mostly younger women, and they're like really impressionable. And well, he starts saying there's going to be a black versus white race war called Helter Skelter. And that's like a cult tactic. They try to like get in your head and feel like, "Oh shit, the world's coming to an end." I'm not gonna say any names of the followers, and I don't want to get too into detail about it because like it's just not my place. But he ended up killing 7 people by manipulating his followers and like victims, you know. Like he ended up getting sentenced. He died of respiratory failure and colon cancer on November 19th, 2017. Overall, I feel like this is a pretty prime example about how like the system of law can fail people with mental illness, or at least how it used to. Because, like, think about it. Take a drug addict, for example, someone who gets charged with possession of, like, an illegal substance. And instead of giving him the proper rehabilitation so he won't go out and, like, do more terrible drugs, they instead put him in prison and punish him for it. If the system of law really got to the deep part of the problem with these people and tried to help them, give them tools to, like, figure out how I can cope with this shit, maybe he wouldn't have tried to start a cult to begin with. I am not trying to say they didn't do enough, but at the same time, if the signs of neglect and abuse were more prominent back then, there could have been a lot of potential for Manson to become a much better person. And that's really heartbreaking. My heart goes out to all the victims, their families, and people affected by this. I really want to say thank you if you got to this part of the video. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed it, please leave a thumbs up. If you don't like it, leave a critique in the comments. Leave literally anything in the comments. I read all of them. And, well, that's going to be it for today. Please subscribe if you want more. Bye!